Okay, welcome everyone to the Mid-Atlantic Indoor Network 2023 fall meeting. As the newest and unfortunately the oldest member of the main exec board, I'm proud to give you a warm welcome. At this time, many of us are in the midst of busy marching band season, auditions for independent units or both, but there will be many important things that we'll be reviewing today. And the most important thing, please make sure you sign into the Google Attendance form.
Which I'm going to post right now.
Uh-oh. This doesn't sound good.
I guess as we're all getting that done. Once upon a time, no, I'm not going to go into a full story here. No, I think we're good. Just wait for everyone to be ready. How is it looking?
All right. I think we're getting. Okay, we have 25 responses so far. So anybody that just came in, I'll post it in the chat again. Just because it's always been kind of crazy to go through the chat and see who's here. We just thought we'd simplify it and just use a Google form for attendance today. So there should be a form in the chat, just your name, your unit, email, just so we have a record of who attended today as we're coming in. So thank you for your patience as people are coming in. Just a reminder that we have an attendance form in the chat. If you could just fill that out so we have an accurate record of attendance. We just decided this is easier than doing in the chat and trying to go through it later. We're doing pretty well. We have 38 people, so I think we're pretty good to move on. I'll keep an eye on it as we go. So I think Sharon, you're up.
Sure. Okay, so the next item we're going to talk about is just a reminder to the show hosts to just submit information on your gym in your school. There's a lot of new show hosts this year. There's a link in the email, the same email with the Zoom link for this meeting. You know, with the form to fill out the information. It's just requesting some information like the number of rows of bleachers, size of the gym, measurements of like the doorways, attendance, like gym capacity numbers, things like that. So, you know, time it takes to get from warm-up area to the gym, things like that. So we don't need like your actual like map of the school yet, but if you have like some photos of the gym or warm-up areas, that would be good because we can post it to the website when each show page goes up there soon. Payment for the show hosts, that's the show host contract, is going to be going out this week, and the instructions for the payment will be on there. We'll get to this in the next section, but Competition Suite is going to be open November 1st for membership, and you can pay the show host fee through that as well. The show host fee is $150. And I think that's all for the show host, just that we do have a number of new show hosts that need to get that information in because we don't really have the information on, you know, your schools yet.
And if I can interject, we're still waiting for a lot of venue confirmations. So if you are hosting a show, please make sure you turn that in ASAP.
And if I could also interject, and this literally happened yesterday. I finally finished linking to all of the show pages on the website. So show hosts, if you go look at yours, you can see what we have. If we have your venue specification and if we have your pictures, they are on the schedule on the website. If it's not there, then we don't have it. You may have sent it previous years and we're just not sure where it ended up in all the transition. But at least you can look and see what we already have for you.
Right, and just email both those things to mainguards@gmail.
Yep.
Also for the show hosts, we are looking at a simpler pay structure for the judges' invoices this year. We kind of are doing an analysis of the number of guards at each competition, what the invoices were, and kind of dividing it up rather than being like, if you have this many guards and you have X many guards over 25 or over 50, or, you know, like the math got kind of complicated. And it took a lot of time on the back end to make those adjustments when, you know, like 2 guards would be adding into a show at the last minute and 1 would be pulling out, and, you know, like all that kind of stuff that happens, you know, right before the day of your competition. So just, we are looking at kind of a flat fee with, you know, possibly 2 or 3 ranges of guards, which would just make it a little bit easier on, like I said, on the back end. And the amounts are not going to be like dramatically different. You know, we want to make sure that no one is overpaying and no one is underpaying by too much. So just, you know, the total for the whole season, it's not going to vary by that much, plus or minus a couple $100s, I think. But it'll just be a lot easier because that required a lot of work, like multiple times, setting out invoices, adjusting invoices, all that kind of thing. So hopefully we can just make it just a little bit easier for us and for the host, because then, you know, if you have, you know, you're steady at 20 color guards, you know, for like 4 weeks leading up to your show, then you're going to be in this payment amount. So it'll, you know, hopefully we can get those invoices out to people earlier, and it'll just be, you know, you'll know ahead of time what it is.
And also adding on to that too, it also takes some of the guesswork out as far as who's judging at your show, because we do have a pay structure for the judges. So the judges' pay structure isn't affected at all. They're still making the same amount. But if we have a WGI judge, they make more than someone who's only got like a level 1 certification. So now that doesn't affect the host if there's a substitution, or if you have 5 WGI judges at your show, you're not going to be paying out the nose. So yeah, so it's just going to make everything a lot easier, and you're going to be just by tiers. So like up to 25 is going to be this amount, up to, you know, whatever. And it's really, we've done some charts and stuff like that, and it's really plus or minus just any given year, you're going to be within $150, $200. So it's pretty good. So that's going to be out in the show contract that's going out this week.
Okay,
Oh,
and
and schedule updates too, yeah.
yes, schedule updates. The South Brunswick show is confirmed for March, is it March 4th? 5th? March 4th. That's the first weekend in March. And then if you see on the schedule, the championships location says to be determined. And, you know, we will let you know as soon as we are confirmed with that.
And Boyertown state change too.
Yes.
So Boyertown is now March 20, what was that, Michelle? 25th. Yeah, and Michelle's updated the schedule on the website, so it is up to date if you look at the current schedule on the website. So as we get confirmations from things, we are updating that. So just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, so it's just another place to look for information, as well as like the emails that get sent out. All right, I think we covered pretty much all updates for the schedule and show hosts. So now we're going on to registration information. So Matt, I think that was you. I think he's muted.
Can you hear me now? I'm dumb.
Yes.
So we're just going to go ahead and review some of the registration information. It hasn't really changed from the past couple of years. The season membership and show sign up is going to be through Competition Suite once again. We will accept check, credit card payment, or purchase order options. Just reminder, the payment is going to be made out to BDPA, not Maine. Your completed payment or PO triggers the eligibility for show sign up. Once again, those step-by-step instructions will be out to you by November 1st. So once you go ahead and you do all that registration, that activates you for show sign up, which is going to start on the 25th of November. And all those postmarks will be as 12/1 when you sign up on the 25th of November. Kind of the same process we did last year. So hopefully everybody is able to take care of that. If you have any problems, just reach out, send an email to the main email address, and we can try and get someone to help you get through that process.
All right. Let me setting something real quick. Sorry about that. All right, so next, some classification reminders. First of all, a reminder, and again, congratulations to the top 3 from Scholastic Novice, all the way up to Scholastic AA. You are in a new class for 2023. See the rule book for procedures if you want to appeal that. That will go to the task force. So the rule book we'll be looking at later. This piece hasn't changed, but you'll have easy access to it to review that. Combined schools, if we have any groups that are combined schools, we'll post the application online for everybody that needs that, so that you can do that again for this year. The task force hasn't really gotten started yet for this new upcoming season. So they'll be needing to look at people that are requesting evaluations because of promotions and things like that. So if you would like to join the task force, we're really looking for people to join. It could be anybody from independent or scholastic. We really like to have people from a variety of classes and from both the independent and scholastic side. So if you would like to do that, let us know. You could probably just go ahead and put it in the chat. And we'll get you on the Facebook group like probably today, so we can get the ball rolling on task force items. All right, Lauren, you're up.
Sorry, trying to answer the chat and do the thing.
I know. That's why I put it off on you.
And I just actually texted Sean if you want to put it in the chat, putting you on the spot. I don't have that BDPA payable information handy right now, but it will be on the invoice you get from Competition Suite when you do the season membership. And we wrote by 11/1, but it'll be open before that. But there's no rush to it's not like if you sign up on 11/1 or 10/25 or whatever, you get any kind of benefit that somebody else doesn't get. But yeah, as soon as we have that ready, basically we'll open it. Okay, so tabled items from the spring meeting. So first we're looking at developing a new novice class sheet. Ours were developed by our task force, 10 years ago-ish. I forget, a while back. But we wanted to update them and make them more in line with the current WGI system that we have. And so we have reached out to our judge coordinator, Eric Kitcheman, to help us with that. And I will let him speak more to what we got and the rubric that we got. We sent it out in the email for everyone to look over, and have Eric speak on that if I think he's on the call. I think I saw him.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Lauren. Yeah, this was something that had came up towards the end of last year, and I'm fortunate enough to work with a team who have pretty deep outreach between Shirley Doherty and Michael Stone. And we talked quite a bit, and I ultimately what I offered was what has been used in the Southern California circuit, and they've used this sheet for about 12 years now, well tested, believe me, well tested, and their suggestion was rather than reinvent the wheel, here's what we have, and it's basic, it's based on nascent approaches, and which is really nascent is just coming into existence. It's that place of beginning to display signs of future potential. And I think that describes novice very well. So, without getting into deep details, I'll just simply say that I'm ready to work with the committee and any other outreach that we need to do to make people comfortable with this sheet. It is designed, obviously, deeply designed with novice in mind. If I have any questions, I am at your service.
If anyone has any concerns or feedback about the sheets specifically, we can open that up for discussion now. Eric's the perfect person to field any questions.
Hi there, it's Anthony. I'm just curious, are the sheets available for review somewhere? Did I miss that?
Yes, they were sent out in the email, but let me go grab that link and I'll send it to you in the chat.
Awesome, thanks.
While Michelle is grabbing that link, in case you missed it from the email, it was under items to vote on in the email, but just in case you missed that, Michelle's going to grab that link so we can put it in the chat. People can review it. Get back to my agenda. You got it, Michelle. Beautiful. All right, so if you haven't had a chance, go ahead and follow that link. Take a look at it it's in the chat there. And while you're grabbing that, I'll just speak about the cadet class that came up. So the thought from the task force last year when we were discussing this was that if we do create a cadet class, which is what we're voting on today, rather than have them be scored and get a first place, second place, etc., they would just get a rating like we did in the virtual season. So the rubric would correspond with the novice sheet. So the sheet that you're looking at now from the chat there, the judges would use that sheet, but then, like if they're in box 3, they would get the box 3 descriptor. If their final, each judge would put down their scoring based on that rubric, and then you get like an excellent or a superior or whatever it is. And I believe the descriptors are just the same as what we used in the virtual season. So the thought was that if we do a cadet class, it doesn't need to be super competitive, and it's about just getting the kids out there and feeling good. So one of the things we will be voting on a little while is if we want to approve having a cadet class with the descriptors on the novice class sheets. The timing for the cadet class would be the same as novice class, same as middle school, same as all that. So it would be 7 minutes maximum interval time. I believe it's a 4-minute maximum performance time, no minimum equipment, no minimum performance, which is what we voted to change for the 2023 season, to keep that for that sheet. And then the age limit, 6th grade is basically what we're looking at. Some elementary schools go up to 6th grade. So it would be, you can be 12, but you can't be 13, just like the WGI age out thing. You can be 12, but you can't be 13 in this class. And our suggestion is to just have one class with no divisions, because they're not competing. So we don't need to have an independent side of the cadet class and then an elementary school side for the scholastics. So just have one division. So if we do approve the cadet class, that's what we would approve when we go to vote. So hopefully by now you have, I guess we can open up the cadet class discussion or the sheet discussion, whichever anybody wants to talk about. If you guys have had a chance to look at the sheets. Does anyone have any questions about the cadet class? Would anyone here actually have a color guard coming out in the cadet class? Not that, you know, in a future year, it might happen, but. All right, cool. Any thoughts about the novice sheets? Okay. I'm gonna move on then. If you do end up with a thought on the novice sheets before, you know, we move it to voting. Oh, Empress is trying to start one. Okay, all right, cool. I know it's hard. If you do end up having a thought about the sheets, we can always come back to that. So the other item we're going to be voting on in a moment is the updated rule book. And I didn't see her yet on the call. I don't know if Danielle's on here. But Danielle actually did a ton of work on this while she was still on the board. Thank you so much, Danielle. She's amazing. So this is now like organized and formatted and whatever. And all of the rules that we voted in the spring are all also included in this rule book. If we approve the cadet class today, we would obviously go back and add that into the rule book as well. But so basically the major, I guess, call outs of what some of the changes, because we made some minor language changes, which is why we're voting to approve the whole thing. Because if it was just a format change, we could just do it. But basically, anytime the rule book talked about a show sponsor or sponsoring a show, we changed that language to an event host or show host, because it's a little confusing, because a show sponsor could be, you know, Field and Floor FX is sponsoring the show. So not when we're referring it to as a host. So we just tried to unify that language to either show host or event host throughout the rule book. We did a call out in the comments. You probably saw it. I know a bunch of you were in the rule book before the meeting started. There's a comment basically where we did language changes. You know, we added a section about meetings. There was nothing actually in the rule book that we actually had to have meetings. Danielle pointed that out. We all kind of laughed about that because obviously we have meetings. So we did that. We added some language about withdrawing from shows, just to clarify, because there's been some confusion on that in the past. When you withdraw from a show, you have to actually email us. You can't just unregister in Competition Suite beyond like the first couple weeks, because once we start building the show in Competition Suite, your unit is in there. And if you take your unit out in Competition Suite, you're still in the show on our end. So it doesn't actually remove you. And we've had some issues with that in the past, where someone happens to look at a schedule and for the show that week, and they say, oh, I withdrew months ago, but they never actually notified us. And then they didn't have enough shows to qualify for championships and all that nonsense. So if you just make sure you email us, we added that to the rule book to make it really crystal clear. But yeah, I mean, anything that we had to really change, we kind of added as a comment so that it was transparent. If anybody has any discussion about the new rule book, we can discuss that as well. So floor is open for discussion for the new novice class sheets, the cadet class edition of that, and the rule book, if anybody wants to say anything. Okay, we have a question.
I'm sorry to, I might just be in the minutia here on this. It's about the sheets.
For Eric.
Yeah, so I see the WGASC sheets and they look fantastic. Is the is the other one, the novice prototype, is that just a work in progress? Because it looks like there's like box 1 and 2 language where box 4 and 5 are on the sheet.
Yes, yes, John. What happened was Shirley needed a bit more history about novice class in Maine, and she said, just so you know, we can adjust the scoring ranges so that would assist whatever Maine needs. What you see is that the WGASC sheets are as is, as they use them. It doesn't have to be what we do. So I was waiting to get, to talk with the committee and work with them to get a little more chisel that away a bit. And but I think that the concept of the development of primary technical skills, the emerging competitive experience, generation of effect is not that important. It's part of it, but it's not like a major part of it. And those kind of elementary principles and efforts are all behind this. So it's got to be a place where a nascent team can begin to grow and be comfortable within that range. So I think that's hopefully enough insight, but I'm more than willing to expound a bit more.
Okay, so in other words, the sometimes discover, sometimes know might actually be appropriate for box 4 and box 5 for general effect. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, very good.
Okay, do we need to do a motion to end discussion and open up voting?
Yes. Yes.
So excellent, thank you, Isaac. Who wants to, if there are no more questions or any more discussion, can I have a motion to open up the voting?
Make a motion.
Thank you. And a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Isaac. Okay, now just a note, anybody that's new to Maine and was not a member in 2022, welcome, first of all. But technically, these are tabled from the spring meeting. So new members aren't voting at this time. So this would just be for anybody that was in member of Maine for the 2022 season. Okay, so let me go ahead and we're not using competition suite this time. We thought these are pretty straightforward and there's just 3 items so that we could just get away with doing it just on a Google form. It's a little easier and save us a little time. So what we'll kind of do here is I'll post the link to the form on the chat. And we'll also use this time to maybe take like a 5-minute break. And so people can vote, we can double check and make sure that that's working out okay for everybody. And then we can start back here at like 1:35. Okay, let me get that link out to everybody. I'm going to specify that it is the voting link because today is the day of Google Forms, as you shall see. All right, so we'll take a break and come back at 1:35. Please go ahead and vote. And reach out if you have any questions.
Hey, Michelle, it's Rob. I have a question really fast. Michelle, can you hear me?
I
Okay,
just realized there's extra spaces on here. Let me get rid of that.
never mind. Probably not.
Yeah, is that what you were saying?
Hey,
Yeah.
Keyboard friends, make sure you're not filling out through the main drive because
Yes.
the names.
Yeah,
of the
I think that's what's
questions.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on one sec.
Yep. Just everybody just pause. Let's just fix that real quick. We tried to make it easier. Well, we tried. Lauren, do you have it?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think someone was.
Let
just
me-
like,
let me
"Okay, we're gonna
refresh.
move to the
I'm
actual-"
seeing John's email on it all the time, though.
What?
On my, I don't know, it says, I see John Burns is the email on there. Am I the only one? That's
On
weird.
where? The direct, on the email?
No, on the form.
I just went through it. It looked fine for me. I
Okay,
submitted.
good. Let me, as long as it's good for everybody else, that's all that matters.
It looks good.
Okay.
Michelle, I see that too. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
He's logged in as Jay Burns. I just checked his computer.
okay.
No, just,
Before it was.
yeah, that's so strange. Guys, just delete the email and put yours. This is weird, Michelle.
All right.
Michelle, you didn't send the edit link, did you?
No,
Okay.
because I went into the send and hit this thing. I'm gonna resend the link again. What's that saying? Best laid plans.
I know, right? Well, hey, we tried it. Try anything once.
Okay, good. People are saying it worked. Fantastic.
I think it's just us who have the main account on their thing.
All right. So I'm trying to, I opened a new tab.
Okay, except.
I
okay.
still see John.
Okay, wait, hang on, because I'm not getting some of these questions answered. Oh,
You have to hit next.
nope.
But
Can
it's just,
everybody pause on the form? I'm so sorry, guys. We
Yeah.
tried to make it simple. No, because 2 of the questions got deleted.
okay. We tried, friends. We tried so hard.
All right, Michelle, I think this is what we should do. I think I'm gonna make a copy of this form and we're gonna restart, okay?
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So guys, let's continue with our break. And
Continue with the break. Hang on, can I
continue
close
with
this
our break.
out?
We're doing breaks really, really well. So continue with our break. And we will let you know, even if it did work for you, I think we're gonna have to
You
start
didn't get all
over.
the questions.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Even if it worked for you, we're gonna have to start over. So let's take a break. Let's come back at like 1:40. Okay, let's come back at 1:40 and then we will have a better form ready to go. For real this time. That's it. We love
Oh, good.
technology.
So it was your name, what is your position with your unit? That's the second question. Because it says director now. And then it's your unit name. That was all missing. Keyboard friends, just make sure you're filling out, you're not editing the form, make sure you're following the link that's in the chat, like the Zoom chat.
Okay, so the most recent one is what we're using.
I haven't posted it yet. I just made a copy of it. I'm editing it now
Okay.
to make sure it's
No,
correct. 'Cause it was
we're making a brand new one.
email your name, your position with your unit, unit name, unit class, active member, voting, new novice class sheet, approved. Okay. I think we're good, friends. I'm gonna save this. I'm only going to send the link to the form, to the actual form. Give me 1 second. Shorten URL, Control C. Hey, Michelle, if I put this in our chat, can you put it into the Zoom chat just because I'm not logged into the Zoom on this machine?
Yes, I can.
You're beautiful. Thank you.
I swear, the only time I need like 3 monitors is main meetings. Okay, got it.
Okay, so it's called correct main fall meeting.
Thank you. Okay. I'm just looking at it. It looks good.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
So now no one will have access to the other one. Oh, I need to set up the other one to stop accepting responses too.
You could just delete that file.
If I could find it.
Okay, this isn't working.
It's not working?
Now, I don't know why. Okay, now I know why. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
At the top, this is just for e-board members. At the top, make sure it doesn't say you're signed in as main email. Make sure you're signed out of the main email. You have to click switch account. That's why we keep seeing other people. So it's our fault.
Never again. Now it's competition suite all the way.
No, it'll work. It's just us. We're just a mess, but it'll work, but it's fine. The next time we do it, it's like anytime that involves like voting for board members and stuff, I have to do competition suite, so it's legit anyway.
Yeah. Or real proposals. I mean, that's always
Yeah, like anything that's really. These are just little baby table things.
All right. I just submitted one, so. Oh, look, it's the correct responses. Yay.
All right.
Seems like-
Everything's good now.
So friends, if you voted on the first form, we're deleting it. So we're not even going to look at it because there's some questions missing. So just vote on this correct form, please. Did you get the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, she does the same thing to me. It's not, it's, I really get a sense that she just wants.
Does Zoom allow you to do polls anymore?
They still do. That's an interesting idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, good for you. That's a good idea. I don't know if that, I'll have to investigate that and see if that gives a record like it does, like with your recording, your chat. I bet it does.
Well, since you're recording, it should.
Yeah. Huh. That's a really good idea. We'll have to remember that.
Okay.
I'm like, I think I've blocked out all my Zoom experience of 2020 and forget it. It's too dramatic.
No,
All
I
the Zoom teaching.
yeah, no, we used to do polls on Zoom all the
Yeah,
time. So
that's a great idea.
so for like a simple yes or no
Mhm.
question, it's one of those things we could.
Yeah.
It's just tricky because we need to verify that the unit was an active member last year. So That's why we're on the spreadsheet, because
No,
need-
I was thinking like, for the simple yes or no questions moving forward, kind of.
yeah, we just need to
thing.
make sure it's one vote per unit. So we need to have like a record of which units voted and things like that.
All right. So is 141, how are we doing on the voting? How's that look, Lauren?
So far we have 41 responses.
Okay.
John's having trouble with the link. Okay, well, we both went offline for a minute, so
I can post the link again. I just have to go get it again. Hold on, because I did
are you
something else.
online?
Hold on. Okay, I just posted it again.
So Michelle, if you want to move on with the agenda, I'm gonna keep
Okay.
diving into this, and I will update you guys in a couple minutes.
All right, fantastic. So our next item on the agenda is we're getting to that time for looking at winter clinics, town halls. So what we want to do again this year is something very similar to what we started to do last year. We would have, instead of like one winter clinic, that's it, but just have more smaller little sessions over Zoom that we can record. So if you can't be there, you still have access to it, that are on educational topics. So one thing we are in the works of getting a speaker to come and do the presentation on Click and Clear, which you've probably heard about before. We talked about it a little bit at our spring meeting as being a resource for getting your correct copyright. I was at the WGI Con in September, and I learned so much, and mostly all the stuff that I had wrong at what I thought was the right way to do things. So I think it'd benefit all of us to really learn, because things are so much more complicated than we knew it was complicated. It's even more complicated than we thought. And what a service they can provide and what they can do for color guards, and how they're trying to really help out the color guard community now. The other thing is we kind of want to find out what other topics the membership are interested in. So we're going to send out a survey. I can post that survey, like I warned you, it's the meeting of Google Forms. I can post that survey in a little bit. I just don't want us to get confused with the voting, since that's still happening. So I'll send it at the end of the meeting. And of course, it'll be in the follow-up minutes and things as well. But just things like we're looking at what kind of topics you're interested in, so we can work to develop some small town hall type trainings and education sessions. And Matt, that takes it to you.
I remembered to unmute that time. Okay, so just want to talk a little bit about some reminders for the WGI participation protection policy. So we do, everyone will need to do the Safe Sport training. The Safe Sport training link is on the WGI website there's a direct link. So if you completed the training on or after January 1st of 2020, your training certificate is still good for this year. If you haven't taken it, you will need to do that for this year. The link is, and keep those records of your and your staff's completion. The directive for this is for all your staff and anyone that has regular contact with your students. So, I mean, if you have parents working at your home show that are selling French fries and hot dogs, they don't need to do the safe sport thing, but anyone that has regular contact um, with your students. This does not include bus drivers or anything like that. Definitely your staff. I know some independent groups have their board of directors, their administration, they should all take it. Scholastic groups, if you have, sometimes you have a specific, I know at North Penn, we have a specific guard parent that's always there, always on the bus. They should take it. It's your responsibility to keep these records for yourself. When it's done, there is also there's a certificate that you should get that you should keep on file for everyone who does it. There is also a free participant version for the members. It's only about 15 minutes long. It's free. I would suggest that you encourage your members to go through that training. It helps them understand their responsibilities and things they should look out for. So I would suggest that. Most of the scholastic uniforms, scholastic units do require background checks for your staff. So you should already have those on file for the school. Independent units, you need to get that done for all of your staff once again, and anyone who has complete and utter regular contact with the students. On the WGI website, there is a list of internal policies that you really should have in place for the participant protection. As far as anonymous reporting, where the kids, who and where the members should go to if there's a problem or if they need to report something. And something new is you will be required to submit your staff and or administration list. This is for scholastic groups. This isn't like your superintendent or the arts supervisor. This is for your staff, independents for your administrators, anyone who works, like I said, anyone who works directly with the kids on a regular basis. The safe sports stuff can be all done through the link at the WGI website, and the background checks would be specific to your state, whatever state you operate in. So you can do research on that, on what your state requires and how that has to happen. I know in New Jersey, there's the whole fingerprint thing that has to happen. Pennsylvania, I think, is a little bit easier. But as we go forward, these are going to be, you don't have to submit. The only thing you have to submit through Competition Suite is your staff and administration list. All the other stuff you should just have on file in case. I'm sure there will be a point that we get to where we will have to do random audits and request those documents for you as we get further and deeper into the higher levels of participant protection. So that's going to be new for this year. And just make sure I happen to just, for AMP, I just keep a folder of everything. I keep all the background checks, all of our internal policies are posted on our website, and all that stuff. If you want to know what it looks like, what it should be, all of on that. I'm sure Rob has them on the Fusion website also. Just go onto either the AMP or the Fusion website. You can see the participant protection sections. You just want to make sure that you have all these policies in place. Scholastic guards, I'm sure you have all that stuff from your school board and your administration. But for independents, we really need to start making sure that we're going a little further down this route. Questions, comments, concerns?
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say if you have teachers on your staff and they've already been, bonded by the district already, or by the state, do they need to be further fingerprinted or use that safe sport form?
Safe Sport, yes. The Safe Sport course is required. But as far as whatever background checks, whatever background checks your school requires will be sufficient for that. But the Safe Sport is a completely separate training that is done separately from your school board. So the Safe Sport training, yes, that one has to be done, but whatever background checks your school requires are sufficient for us.
So could I submit, so
You don't
because-
have to submit them to us. You just have to have those on file, the background checks, that if
okay,
there's ever a point where we need to say, hey, let's see if your background, if we do an audit of our color guards and we see that, okay, you have 2 people listed, you have 12 people listed on your staff, and then we say, okay, can we see their background information? And you only provide us with 2 background checks. Well, so you don't have to submit those to us. You just need to make sure that whatever your staff list that you submit to us, you have the matching documentation on file just in case of their background checks and their Safe
Okay.
Sport certification.
okay. That sounds good.
Anyone else? Great.
All right, what are we on? So that is all. We've hit all the bullet items for the agenda. So at this point, we just open it up to questions. Well, we'll start with the question in the chat, if that's okay.
I just
from
want to
Brad-
say call for voting really quick. So if you
Oh,
have
okay.
not
Go ahead
voted,
and then I'll answer that question. Yep. Go ahead.
please go ahead and vote. I'm going to close the voting down in just a minute.
Yeah, so Sharon answered it. Yeah, all the Safe Sport stuff. You remember last year we didn't do Safe Sport for Maine because WGI asked us not to because they were just the system couldn't handle it all. But that's all resolved. So now the Safe Sport is for Maine as well. But obviously, if you do it for WGI or did it last year, you're already set. And I know, like with Isaac's questions that Matt answered, WGI does talk about the reasoning why, even if you do background checks or other training with not background checks, but other trainings. I know like at my school, we have to watch all these videos and stuff, and every school district pretty much does something like that. They ask us all to do Safe Sport just because it's something that's consistent, something that we all know. And then we're following along those lines that WGI is. Any other questions?
Now recently for myself, we just had to watch a video. We had to watch like a 30-minute video, and we had to take like a test, like a 5-question test based on child abuse.
Mhm.
Would that be maybe credit for Safe Sport or what?
No, the Safe Sport is actually its own part. Like you have to get the Safe Sport certificate. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. We do the same thing every year. We have to watch this 30-minute video, answer the questions, but you have to do the one from Safe Sport.
Okay.
Yeah. And they really go into detail why. They're just like, yes, everybody does these things and these are great, but this is like, they just need one thing that we all do so they can, just monitor it and keep track of it.
All right.
Isaac, you got off easy. Our school district makes us watch over 25 hours worth of
Oh,
videos.
so many videos.
No,
No,
but that's not
no,
that's not just the
that's not-
I'm sorry. But
I,
that's
I-
not go ahead.
That's the only thing. I'm gonna chime in for Isaac because they just threw a 2-hour dyslexia thing with us that they want by like Monday or something like that. And they just threw it in to us like last week. So
Right. Right.
everything's last minute.
Right. Like we've been watching videos and getting certificates on like bloodborne pathogens and all that stuff. So
Yep.
so there's like 6 certificates that we have to do. So we did. I've already completed all of them already, but I just thought that, but safe
But
sport, I
unlike-
think it's important, so.
But unlike normal districts, like West Milford and all the other districts, because like in Northern Valley, I have to watch the same videos. They give it to us over the summer. And I also work in Isaac's district, but they tend to be like, here, watch this video. And then a week later, like, here, watch this video. And then a week later, like, here, watch this video. They don't give it all to us in like one lump sum and say, take your time. They're like, here, watch this video, it's due tomorrow. Here, watch this video, it's due tomorrow. It's like, they give it to us last minute. So it's a little frustrating. So
Yeah.
I got you, Isaac.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so I just posted the Safe Sport link here, but it's on WGI's website. It's on our website if you go under resources, and then I'll also put it in a follow-up on the follow-up email to this meeting. What other questions do people have about anything for the upcoming season? Want us to look at your costumes? No, I'm just kidding.
So November 1st is membership sign up.
Mhm.
November 25th will be show sign up. When do you think, are we planning to have the final schedule where we feel like it's sort of locked in and available?
Really close.
I think there's a question mark with one date right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, until we get everybody's venue conform, last year we actually had an issue the week of registration.
Yeah.
Right now there's only one show that we don't really have like confirmation on. But everything else is pretty much set
Okay.
now that we know where South Brunswick is. And then the Boyertown move to that last weekend. And real quick on the Boyertown thing. So, and I talked to Lisa from Hapro, like there's going to be a cap on the Hapro show to make sure that like, if you're in PA, to make sure that, you know, both shows can be viable and we can support both hosts. So it's Monroe on New Jersey side, and then it's Boyertown and Hapro on the PA side.
Okay. Just the last thing that I would say to all of the show hosts this year, thank you for hosting a show. I know it's tough and it's difficult, but it's great to get back out there. That's my caveat by saying that the spec form that you guys are filling out is super duper important, because I bother the explicative out of our executive team every year to figure out where we can fit. And because sometimes those dimensions, so if you can put those dimensions, heights, bleachers pulled out, it just reduces a lot of show day nonsensical stuff and asks. So I appreciate all of that.
And those are due, show hosts, by November 1st, because we want that to be set. Like we need to also have time to put it on the website before registration starts. So we really need that back as soon as you can get it back if you have not yet done that, especially if you're a new host. And you may even be getting a visit from an e-board member to tour your facility. So, because we have a lot of new hosts. So definitely get that back in. I'm going to go ahead and close voting.
Before we do that, I just have one more question as far as the shows. And I may have missed that part in the very, very beginning, but can you give us some kind of confirmation about where championships are going to be at? Because a lot of us, well, I can speak for myself, a lot of us are starting to order buses now for the season, as well as championships. Is championships going to be back in Allentown again? So
we will let you know when we know. We do not know yet exactly it will be, but it'll be sooner than last year. I think we found out in February last year. So it'll be sooner than that, but it's still October. So just order the bus for the day is all I can really say. It's April, the date is set. But you know, we can't tell you what we don't know.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I sent a nice little TBD to my secretary on my bus request, and haven't heard back yet. So
right,
I think we're good.
Yeah, it's really far out there though. I mean, it's the end of April, so.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna close the voting just so I can make sure I
Okay.
get the final tally really quick.
Okay. We do have a question from Anthony about when do we get linked into competition suites?
Oh, I haven't done any of the admin end of Comp Suite, but it would be, Anthony, your new unit. So it would be when you do your season membership, there's a process for creating a new unit. And actually, it's easier if I create it for you. So I'll probably do that with you. At some point, I'll text you or something and we can set that up so it's easier. But good question. So if you are on the call and you are a new unit, honestly, the easiest thing is if you send an email to maincolorguards@gmail.com and just say, hey, I'm so-and-so with XYZ Color Guard and we want to join Maine this year. I can set your unit up in Comp Suite a while. Tell me what class you want to be in. That would be super, super helpful. Or if you don't know, we can have a phone call about it. And we can connect you with the task force. But then I can set you up in advance and it just kind of cuts down on some of the things we have to go back and fix later. So Anthony, if you want to do that, if you just want to send an email to Maine Color Guards with the name of the unit, what class you're going to be in, and your email address as the director, that would be awesome.
Okay, we'll do it now.
Thank you. You're the best. For those of you who might be new to Maine, a little history. Anthony and Tim, but Anthony's actually responsible for our beautiful Maine logo. He designed that for us a few years ago. So.
Oh, Amber, welcome to Maine. We haven't had Wilson for a while. So excited.
Oh, yay.
I was actually with Pottstown last season. I started their first indoor program, but now I'm with Wilson. So getting lots of programs into Maine.
Yes.
Love that.
Yes, Team PA. Love to see it.
So the voting results, which I'm gonna just like reconcile again after the call, just to make sure I have a question about one unit, but it's not gonna affect anything. So right now, to approve the new novice sheets, we have 43 yes, 1 no, and 3 abstain. So that passes. And Michelle had got this in a spreadsheet.
Okay, thank you.
It's in sheet 2 of the form responses spreadsheet.
Okay.
Approve the addition of the cadet class also passed, 45 yes, 0 no, and 2 abstentions. And then to approve the rule book as presented was 45 yes, 0 no, and 2 abstentions. So all 3 of those did pass. And I will do the final reconciliation in case the numbers change slightly based on if someone was eligible to vote or not. I believe they were, but I want to double check. But yeah, so those all passed.
All right. So are there any other questions?
I'd like to make just a quick little statement. So this whole activity is about, you know, our own color guards, but it's also building a community. And, you know, I want to take an opportunity to thank the independent groups that ran the clinics in the summer, because, you know, we had some students that went to them. Even some of our youngest members, 7th and 8th graders, found it a little challenging at some of the world-class clinics, but they loved it and they were inspired. So, you know, for all of us out there, to really try to inspire these kids to really, you know each other, learn each other, you know, start building a community. It's more than just competing against each other. I think that's a really important fact. And I think that's a really important bond that we have here at Maine. So, you know, let's just keep up that good work and, you know, keep those things going. And when it comes to training, I know we, at West Milford, we brought in Vernon Color Guard and Lakeland Color Guard this summer. We had like a little fun get together and the guards just bonded, and it was really a great experience. So I would like to share that with you guys, and hopefully, you know, we can start building upon that as a circuit.
Awesome. One more thing, just a reminder, all the information for this meeting will come out hopefully this week, but included in that will be a survey about different educational sessions you'd like to see. And then lastly, we want to make sure we put out one more call out for task force members. So if you can just drop in the chat or send us an email if you would be interested in being on the task force. If you drop it in the chat, we'll have you in by the afternoon. So we're really looking to add some more variety as far as different classes and independent versus scholastic. So go ahead, you can write it down. If there's no other questions or comments, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Oh, who just said so moved? Was that Rob? Thank you. And a second?
Second,
And who is that? I'm sorry.
Pat Wayne Hills.
Thank you. All right. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, so much for coming. And be on the lookout for all this information and our season membership registration and show registration. And pretty soon, before we know it, we'll be on the floor. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye.
Ready?
Thank you.